Hi and welcome. This is Angel Messages with Elena, and I am Elena. Thank you all for subscribing, for sharing, for liking, for making comments. I really appreciate it. Our last reading we were talking about how to go through those storms. And you know what? We've had storms the last couple of weeks. We have such a drastic change in weather for Arizona. I live in Arizona. And I've had inner ear infection and sinus infection. So I haven't even been on the internet for a week and a half, or, going to the library and, updating anything. So I kind of apologize for that. But as is exactly what I predicted. Had a very beautiful for 2 days in a row, lots of rain. Not so much rain where we got flooded, but it was enough so that, man, it just felt good. We hadn't even had our air conditioner on for 4 days. Today is the first day that I'm turning it on because of the humidity. We're not used to that. We're such an arid state, so it was really nice. I've been doing some self-care. Tomorrow I'm gonna be redoing my nails, and I did my hair. I made more highlighting, natural highlighting shampoo. Done some masking on my face. I'm updating my Freedom Equine Therapy of the Faux Kind. It has my measurements. I did lose 3 pounds and 2.5 inches in just 3 workouts. So I'm excited. So what does this new moon have for us? The energies goes from September 26th until October 30th, plus or minus a few more days. Everything will flow. So I'm using the energy oracle cards to pull the clarity and what's on our mind and situation. And then I'm using the oracle the Goddess Power Deck by Colette Baron Reed. Sorry, it's just like everything is kind of like really weird. It's been a week since I did readings, and I have another client reading to do before I head out. So it's been really fun, but energetically it's kind of been like all over the place, just like I predicted. It's made me kind of feel real tired. Some headaches just because of the change in the weather. We even had a tornado warning here a few days ago, and it's funny because even though my phone has no data to it, or it's not even turned on, I did not even get that warning. I noticed that when I watch regular TV and watch the news and the weather, which I never do, and they said we were in a tornado warning. So I thought that was really interesting. So here we are, September 26th through September 30th, and what's on our mind is the balance, right? We are in Libra. This is contracts. So contracts, this is the starting of new contracts. This is the ending of new contracts. This is what's on our mind, is the things that we have to come to conclusion. The things that, if you have made a contract with God, if you made, and I really believe in that. I didn't a long time ago, but the more I come into knowing myself in the last 9 years and having this divine healing in my own life and helping others, is like, it's kind of like the settlement, so that we have to pay the settlement for these things. And I kind of been seeing a lot of that in the contracts. So contracts is on their mind. If that's something that you are getting ready to purchase a home, if you are going to buy a car, this is the most, the great time to do that. And we'll see more into our reading for more definition and details. Right, we got a little Virgo still going on, so because that is the elegant fine step, the details of it all, to cross our T's and dot our I's, and making sure that everything is written as we need them to be written, especially in a binding contract. So the way that I'm going to pull cards today is going through the north, the west, the south, and that's kind of crossed. So it's like I'm crossing myself. I don't want to cross myself. is the north, the east, the south, and the west. So it will be going, clockwise, like it should be. And then when we do the waning of the moon, it will be counterclockwise. So the first card that we're pulling is, this is Hestia and is about home. So in the first position in the north is about leadership, but it's home. It's the things that being reminded that we need to settle things at home. Man, I've kind of been going through that even with myself. There's a 21 number that comes down into the 3, so it's like a lot of transformation. Deals with immediate relationships, the people who you invite into your home, your family members, your partners. It's time to put things back into order. I've been doing a little bit by that as well. I've actually kind of changed my bedroom the last couple of days, just because my roommate is gone and I have all the little pooches sleeping with me on the couch. Still have a mouse problem, so it's just like those kind of things that we're hitting home on is getting ready for winter, trying to get a hold of the nesting grounds for these stupid mice, and finding out where they're coming in at, so the home doesn't become infested. I have animals, so I've been also like scolding my parrot and putting him in the back room when he's screeching, because you could probably hear him in the background and I'm outside. Yeah, he just throws a fit, but I've been teaching him that if he be quiet, I will keep him out, and he's been doing a lot better until now. So it's like our next card is Morrigan. She's the goddess of death and magic. She is the 37 card. So death and magic, this is things are coming to an end. Things are even becoming magical. A lot of people, when they see that you get the death card, it doesn't always mean that that person is going to die. Okay, so it could be just an end of one year and a birth of another year. So it's just like the night before your birthday, and then here you have the next day is your birthday and you're another year older, another year wiser. So that's kind of how I've been really feeling into the magical side of it all. And it's just like the manifestation, the prayers, what we say, what we think. Yeah, I'm going to do a think tank. Some things that we've been putting out into society is think about it. Why are they doing this? Think about it. I'm a free thinker. I'm always trying to get people to think outside of the box, instead of being in the box, because we need more free thinkers. We need people to who is willing to think outside the box and kind of be the rebellious one, not to be into the confirmation, because this is the new age. This is the magical time of this new era, is getting out of the old thinking into the ancient thinking, because they were actually more right on than what we are now, and into the healing of the bodies, and to really think about it, but think about it in a positive way, because that positive way is going to come out of how we think about it, and kind of guiding into this freedom, because we had to have freedom in order to live, because otherwise we degrade our bodies. So the next one is the Goddess Gold. She's the 46 card, which comes down to the 10. Very powerful leadership card. She's about the future, but not only about the future, about this is the most perfect time to step into your destiny. We get that a lot in my readings, because the people who come to my readings, I mean, you guys are ready. You are ready. You just just say to the universe, say to God, say to your angels, I am ready to step in my destiny. Guide me. And they will guide you. So you are probably getting visions, you're getting epiphanies about what is your destiny. Things are coming together, and you might have a whole bunch of stuff coming together. So it's really important to put that all these thoughts, all these ideas into a journal, so that you can sort them out, because you can't just do it on your head. Sort it out and just be at peace. Sometimes we think too much, but hopefully with this guidance that you will find peace within yourself so that you can rest at night, right? Because sometimes we get so many different ideas. Yeah, so really step into your destiny. It's time. And then we have Isis. She is rebirth. And so, yeah, we were talking about the rebirth that is coming out here. She's a 24 card. She holds something, see right in here, she's holding something. It kind of, to me, almost looks like time, like an hourglass. But it's really hard to see because it's not really defined. So it's just like, this is the time of rebirth, right? We're right in that transition, that magical time. If you haven't had a rebirth, you're going to get one. And, those are the kind of things where, changing of ideas. It could also be the, maybe getting that new car and that new house, and to making that move into that journey. And each time you do that, you're changing. You're changing into something better. If you are stuck into the things that this is also time for things to be released. And it's just like, okay, these are gone, and to say goodbye to them and blow them away, or set them on fire in your own fire, in your own pit, and release it. There's the different things that keeps coming to me years and years ago that I've never thought about, and it's just like, okay, what do I need to learn from that? So I'm always looking at, if you're going to a funeral, this is how I really felt about, like, I had a very close cousin who had died, and she was 21 and I was 23. She was going to be in my wedding. She died 6 months before my wedding even happened. And it was just like, in her short amount of life, what could we learn from her? And what, she inspired others to do. She was just graduated from nursing school with her BSN, and her family put up scholarships to go into nursing. So it's just, inspiring, helping others. She was very compassionate and very loving. So it's just like, inspiring to, do the things that I remembered her to do. So with all of our flaws, we do have something that we can learn from each other. All right, so going into the East, the number 2, which is about family, and not just about family, but women, children, churches, houses, is about Artemis, and she's about focus. She's the number 4 card. So it's just like, we're readjusting our focus once again, or maybe you're getting more into that, getting right on that dot, that you're finally, you've been shooting outside of your target, but now you're getting right on, we call that, what do we call that? Center mast. You're finally getting focus. You're getting direction. So continue with that direction, because it's going to lead you to this freedom and helping others, especially women and children. Then we have Shakti. She is our 45 number. So it's coming to a conclusion here. Completion, the harvest is the transformation, is, this change. So yeah, all these are just, kind of like really just telling you like it is. This is Mama Kocha. She's a number 33 card. She's about water. Water is very transformation. It's about healing. It's about miracles. It's about our, not just of our emotions, but, I don't see this time as being so stormy. You're coming out of the storms into maybe more of the eye of the storm. But I don't even see the eye of the storm that is going to be that bad in the aftermath of the storm. It's really coming down into a beautiful conclusion, and it's like bringing peace all the way through. So yeah, tap into that peace. Look at this as a tidal pool. I don't know if you've ever seen a tidal pool, but it's where there's a lot of rocks, and it's like the tides will bring in like fish and stuff, but they get enclosed into this pool where it doesn't drain as fast, or it doesn't drain at all, and it just stays like that, and it evaporates with the sun and the wind. But you can actually, sometimes if there's not so many sea urchins, you can actually play in this little pool. There was a movie that I saw back in the 80s with Brooke Shields, and they were playing in the tidal pools. So that kind of is coming to mind. It's like very beachy, on the coast, maybe more in the Pacific, but I don't know, maybe it's South Atlantic. It's a very temporal, very warm place that is bringing to you. So it's like paradise. In the Bible, it says, it is our goal to reach paradise, into this peace, into this, transformation. And I'm very excited to have lived in Hawaii and been able to see all these things and to live in paradise. So, so you're being brought into paradise, and how beautiful is that? All right, our last card in the number 2 position is Benzai 10, and she's about the beauty of it. The beauty. And the 6 is about life, and it's about love. And it's just like, when you can look at all this crap and all this crud, and you can still see beauty in it, or you can still see that there's some work to do. Is like, but I can make that into something beautiful. I can make that into something creative. This is how God makes something out of nothing. This is how creators do it. When we are given that, lump of coal because we don't conform and transform into what they want, we could take that lump of coal and make beautiful drawings, right? Under that beautiful pressure of the coal, we can make ourselves into these beautiful diamonds that have a lot of luster and a lot of value. So also kind of look into that, making something out of nothing, that we can turn all this crap into something really beautiful. And if you already living in that beauty, you have already succeeded, and congratulations. Now we're coming into the 3. This is the south side. This is about our transformation into, our personal lives, into partnerships. If you live alone, and you're looking to adding people into your family, if it's by adoption or fertility, if you are looking to find a partner to start a family, if you are already married and have a family, this is all for you. So our first card is the Spider Woman. So there's a creation. Now this is like directly below home. It's just like, in the north side and coming into the south side, we have this co-creation, or this creation. She's a 48 card that comes to the 12 and to the 3. So there's a creation that is happening, right? We're coming into, coming down from the west into, or the east into the south. It's like, I really see this reading really coming into a full circle. So it's just like, the creation part of it, making something out of nothing, is just, this is the time to create what you want, and it creates into, writing it down into the manifesting, and to really, pray about it, pray on the what you want to have this to turn out to be, what kind of paradise, because you're already achieving it. Some of you will be there shortly, so you could do this. I mean, you don't have to be like an engineer to do this. Everyday people can do this. So then we have Nike, which is ambition. Sometimes we just have to have ambition. She's a 38 card that comes into the 1-1. And the 1-1 I really see as, really coming, full circle into not just ourselves, because we're in the 3rd position, into our family, and bringing people together and beginning that connection. So we have to have some ambition, but the ambition that I'm seeing here is like the pure ambition, and the go-getter, and being persevered and not taking no for an answer. And it's like, if I can dream it, I can achieve it. And there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way, because I can't just dream it without doing it. And, just look at Leonardo da Vinci and how he made all of these beautiful pictures. He could not achieve it in his lifetime, but we are. So it's just like 300 years later, we are using all his ideas for the heart and the pacer, for those gliders. They kind of look like sugar gliders flying through the air. All those beautiful things. Somebody put it out and put it in paper, and we're using those ideas. So we are in the age that anything could happen. We've seen that. We see how our generation is making something out of nothing all the time by putting it up on iCloud, having a host in microwaves and macrowaves. So yes, it can be done. All right, and then we have this love Aphrodite, and she's the number 2 card. So she's about bringing this romance in. She's about influencing this love that is, part of this transformation. You have to get into the feelings of love. And so I would challenge you today, if you're not in a loving marriage, or in a marriage at all, but to when were you when you felt most loved? As a Christian, and knowing about Jesus and how God gave his son as a gift for us, but also another Messiah that's coming, the Divine Mother in the physical form. And it's just like, I feel that love, that divine source, that unconditional love, that there's no conditions that you have to be in that you can be loved. And that is truly the kind of love that has to come in order to heal yourself, in order to have other romantic relationships, for manifesting to work. So yeah, I would just kind of spend some time today and really, what is love to me? And can I achieve that? And if you are having a hard time because you got things coming to you is like, well, that's not love. This was showing me that's not love. Well, then it's time to get out of that thinking, out of that programming, even like things that we see on YouTube and on television, and get out of that kind of love. And it's like, what kind of love do you want? So make sure we can release all that old stuff to bring in the new. And it can happen. It can happen. It's very beautiful. So now we're coming into the West, and the West is about order. It's about governments. It's about society. It's about our body. Like, you're getting into that spiritual order, how things are supposed to happen in the right order, how our bodies is going to heal in the right order, right? You have to remove negative emotions for your body to heal. That's why stuff comes up. It's just like, it's normal. This is like the timeline of Isis and the rebirth, to release it. So yeah, it's so beautiful into this new moon. So we have, this is Maya. She's about illusion, right? So the illusion that I see is, and I've said this again, is like, we're living the reality of something that we have already achieved. We've already achieved it. That is the mentality, that is the manifesting, that is the praying, we're already living in paradise. We have already received the victory. We are the conquerors. Because there's so many key scriptures in the Bible that says, we are more than conquerors in Christ through the Anointed One, because he teaches us, he shows us the different passages that we need to go back to look at. And that's how I healed myself, and that's how I've been helping other people, is going back into those old passages, and it's just like, oh, that's what that means. And then it takes another different perspective, because if you're a musician, if you're an artist, if you're a healer, if you're a speaker, if all of these things are in the Bible because you are part of Levi. If you are in any of those things, scribes, bloggers, vloggers, those are key notes of the Levi because that's what they did. Not everybody could write back then, but it was through the priesthood that you can. So we are definitely into this priesthood, that we are the overachievers. We are the freedom thinkers to set us apart and to break your chains and to help you break your own chains. So coming into that is this beautiful knowledge. She's the goddess Athena, the number 5. She's a goddess of wisdom. She has owl, that is about the wisdom. We see things in the night, we see things during the day. More and more knowledge is coming to us, and the understanding. So Uriel works with us into that understanding. The knowledge that we see, that Metatron is working with us on that. The visions that we get, how we hear. If you are, it was funny because when I was working with horses last fall, and I could hear, I could have 20 people. I didn't have 20. I could have 10 people in my trail, and to have a guide in the back, and I could hear her clear in the back, and I'd be talking back, and she's like, "Are you saying something up there?" And it's like, "Yeah." And it's like, "How can you hear us?" And I'm like, I don't know. I am so in tune to nature that it's amplified my hearing. So spend time with nature, but to know you're going to be very hypersensitive to other noises. So that's why I'm so sensitive to mice in my house. I don't get to sleep until after 2 in the morning because I can hear the scratching. I can feel, because I'm so in tune to nature, I can feel their little tiny vibrations, and it's just like magnified. So you're not the only one if you feel the same way. All right, so then we get into Goddess Izumi, who's about humor, bringing the humor and laughter into this situation. She's a 49 card that comes down into the 13, which is Mary Magdalene. She is the tower. It says that there's somebody who climbs the tower and kind of sets us into the motion that we're supposed to go. It's in the old prophets. Is the one who climbs the tower and sets us into motion, and that is it tells us what to look for. That's what Revelations is all about, the revealings, and how this is being revealed. And it's through a woman, because the woman is the oracle. She wrote it, so there's got to be a woman who can interpret it. And so this is something that I've been doing since 2011, is the revealings, and to find the humor and laughter, because if we can't laugh at our own mistakes, we're just going to be so hard on ourselves. And especially being a perfectionist as I am, and that was really hard to really look at myself as, yeah, I'm human, I make mistakes. I never used to be like that. I had a nervous breakdown when I was 19 years old, because I couldn't be perfect enough. And then I learned to give my burdens back to God, divine source, my angels, and I finally had freedom. So you can happen. And then through my past of that particular time helped me get through my post-traumatic stress that I had twice. So because we learn from our mistakes, we learn from it. We're not supposed to be hard on ourselves and it's like, okay, now I can't do anything. It's like, yes, you can, and you can still inspire others. So our last card in this is the White Buffalo Calf Woman, and she brings reverence. She is the number 50 card, which is all about transformation. So the reverence is, coming into giving reverence to others. It's a respect, bring reverence into God, and that respect, honor things. I think it's really sad and how people want to separate from being religious and get away from religion. But through our founding fathers, if you are in the USA, they had given us a leeway into how to change and transform our nation through religion in the 1st, 4th, and 14th amendments of the Constitution. So not only the freedom of speech, freedom of religion, but how we do that and how we can do stuff to change our nation under religion. So it's really important not to have no religion. You have to have religion in order to change what's going on in our world, because this is our founding fathers has the loophole, and that is what the loophole is through religion. So yeah, and bring the reverence. Just because somebody worships a god, a deity that you don't understand, does not mean that God's source, the being of God and mother and father being together, does not honor those prayers. It was really interesting when I started my Star of Destiny Etsy shop, that my first one doing for a paid client was answering a prayer to the goddess Lakshmi, and her card came up, and I gave, I do my messages by recording, and this client wrote me back and said, "You answered my prayers," and it was to this goddess. It brings tears to my eyes to know that people want to separate deities because they don't understand that they're all part of God. No matter if you call Allah, Lakshmi, even Buddha, Jesus, any of those things, because they are truly all the same. And it's through the separation that you're all dying as a part of humanity, because you're so separated. But you bring it into that unity of it all, and that unity will bring, just the understanding, and bring everything together. There's a lot of things that was done physically that Jesus did for us, like the Mayans going through the blood. Well, going through the blood was through the bloodline, but they didn't have that understanding, so they literally sacrificed people. The sacrifice that we give to a god is not the physical blood, how they sacrifice people and how they're continuing to sacrifice babies, is not through that sacrifice of those children. It is what we do and what we sacrifice in this physical world, and what we have to do on the behalf of children and our families, that we have to let go, and we have to separate ourselves. We have to go and do that in order to find our healing, in order to heal our families. A lot of people don't understand that, but I see it clearly. So just to know that separation and stuff, we're coming together and being unified. So our clarity card is the 28 card, is that you had the victory over this. And look at this. This is a laurel leaf. Laurel leaf is the representation of bloodline of royalty. That you are part of this big priesthood, of this bloodline, that every single one of us have some sort of this blood, because we have intermarried for so long and made it stronger, because it's not through the purity of it all, it's going through being impure and then going through the purity process, that we have actually purified our own bodies, and we have purified our own DNA. So I can't wait to actually have my DNA tested, but I'm not going to do it on my own. I do want somebody to sponsor me on that, because I know my DNA has been perfected. So I'm excited about that. If you felt like your DNA has been perfected in the last few months, especially from January through March, because man, I even have lines in my head, the sealing process, the making the mark, the logo, all these things, the sigils, the seals, is all the same thing. And yeah, you can't get away from what God puts on your forehead. So I look at a lot of people's foreheads and how their third eye is opening up in here, and some is like really, have you seen Tom Selleck and how his is really opened up way up high? Kind of looks like a really in-depth tree that's going on there. So that's what I look at. I look at how people are transforming, and how the divine goddess is actually amongst us, and how she has really influenced us and still influencing us. So thank you, Miriam. Thank you, Divine Mother, for being here today. So I look forward to more of your guidance and insights. So yeah, make sure that you put something in the comments, even if it's a heart or if it's a thumbs up. I appreciate it. So I will look forward to talking to you, and my next one will be the waxing of the moon. Bye.